Welcome to the Seaside County Sanitation District Board meeting. It's a regular meeting in here. Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, 9:30, the City of Seaside Council Chamber. So call to order, please. Oh, no, roll call, please.
Chair Uy.
Present.
First Vice Chair Oglesby. Here. Alternate Vice Chair Carbone. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. If there are any items that arose after the 72-hour posting deadline, this is the point in the meeting where a vote may be taken to add the item to the agenda. Are there any revisions to the agenda? None. Okay. Okay, thank you. And then now let's proceed to public comment. My favorite part of the meeting. So members of the public wishing to address the Seaside County Sanitation District on matters within the jurisdiction of the board, but not on this agenda, may do so during public comment period for up to 2 minutes. Public comments on specific agenda items are heard under that item. For the public record, please state your name. So now the floor is open to the public for public comment. None?
Chair, there are currently no hands raised on Zoom for public comments.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Okay, so I'm gonna close public comment period. So let's proceed to the consent agenda. So we have here the first item is to approve minutes from May 13, 2025 regular meeting. And item B is to receive Seaside County Sanitation District Operations Report for May 2025. The purpose of this report is to receive the Seaside County Sanitation District Operations Report for May of 2025, and the recommendation is to accept the reports. This item is presented for information only.
Chair, I move the approval of consent agenda.
Okay, I'm gonna first go to the public. If someone in the public would like to pull out any of the items here on the consent agenda. And then how about online?
There are currently no hands raised.
No hands. Okay, okay, thank you. So now I'm gonna open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda. And it was Director, you're gonna. Okay, and the second?
And I will second.
Approval. Okay, let's vote. So say aye for those who would approve the consent agenda. Aye. Thank you. So the consent agenda has been approved. So now let's go to the new business item. We only have one. Okay, so and this item is to consider take public comment and adopt the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 proposed Seaside County Sanitation District annual operating and capital budget. Again, the purpose is to give the district board the opportunity to consider, take public comment, and take action on the proposed fiscal year 2025 to 2026 operating and capital budget for the Seaside County Sanitation District. And then, of course, the recommendation of staff is to approve the attached resolution, approving the proposed fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget. Okay, so and now we're gonna have the floor with the staff to brief us about the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. The budget that we're presenting is balanced as it pertains to available resources and planned expenditures. And the next slide will more specifically address revenue and expenses that are budgeted exclusively for fiscal year 25-26. Revenue is projected at 2.9 million and is comprised primarily of user fees at 2.1 million, which is 72% of total revenue. The district also receives property tax forecast for the coming year at 700,000. Expenditures include 1.9 million of proposed operating expenditures, which covers 3.5 full-time employees, in the maintenance and engineering staff, plus administrative overhead and various other services and supplies. So after an overhaul of the district's system of lift stations that cost over $8 million and completed in fiscal year 21-22, capital expenditures have been reduced over the past 3 years. During this period, the district also focused on developing a comprehensive sewer master plan to guide future infrastructure investments. For fiscal year 25-26, capital expenditures are proposed at 1.8 million and include 7 projects listed on this slide. Sewer main replacement at 50,000, development of SCSD standards at 50,000, manhole improvement projects at 250,000, sewer lateral policy implementation at 75,000, Hillby Avenue sewer line upgrades at 400,000, Birch Avenue sewer line upgrade at 800,000 and sewer pipe replacement program at 150,000. All these projects are detailed in the budget document attached to this agenda item. And also the district engineers will be available for further questions. On the next slide is just a review of the impact of this proposed budget on the fund balance for the Seaside County Sanitation District. Total revenue of 2.9 million is supporting a total expenditures of 3.7 million, which results in a projected decrease in the fund balance of 750,000. Unrestricted fund balance, which does not include capital assets, is estimated at 6.6 million. So the district is in a strong financial position with unassigned fund balance at 2 times the proposed annual expenditures in this budget. Before I conclude, I just have 2 minor corrections to the budget document. These don't impact the expenditures being proposed. It's just the beginning fund balance should be listed at 7.3 million. And the total revenue was increased by 31,000 at 2.9 million, 2,973,281. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Okay, so questions, Q&A from the board.
This is on my second time here. And so I just had a question going over the budget. I wasn't familiar with the central services and internal charges. And I did receive an addendum that what that broke down to under the central service department. I don't know if there was a summary on page number 7 that that broke that down. I don't know. Anyways, but I was looking at the numbers and I was wondering what those I was looking at the salaries in the budget and then looking at the central services and internal charges, and was wondering were these salaries already set or did we need more of a breakdown? And on those there, I looked at the budget details on the budget under the Sanitation General Fund Administration breakdown of salaries. And I started to throw this all out, but there was, I looked at the numbers, I think page 7 in our packet, the 443, 435, and page 8, the salaries there, and added those together and come up with 100,000 variance. So I was wondering if you could catch that or
So let me explain, I think, or first establish that salaries are distinct and separate from central service charges. Even though there is an element of salaries that goes into calculating central service charges. So it's a little bit more intuitive to not use the word central service charges, but administrative charges or indirect charges. So salaries, on the one hand, are direct charges. If a maintenance employee goes out, does some work on a lift station, gets paid for that work, that's a direct relationship to the work being done and the cost. So an administrative cost is an indirect cost and it's separate from salaries. So an example of an indirect cost would be that maintenance employee was paid a salary and the indirect cost was the finance department preparing their paycheck. Or another indirect cost might be the HR department who hired that employee. So those are related to salaries, but not the salaries of the direct employee working for the sanitation district. Mhm. Okay.
Thank you. And do you have other questions?
Yeah, I got it. Those corrections. And we're supposed to take those numbers and put them on the budget summary. But doing that, does that change any of the numbers on the rest of in the budget document itself?
No, it doesn't change any of the expenditures being proposed. And the impact of that is to increase the estimated ending fund balance, which was reported correctly in the rest of the document as $6.6 million.
Oh, okay. And so I guess the question for me is, why wasn't the packet updated? I just don't understand how.
The correction needed was found after it was posted to the agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. And I just have like a couple of questions. I noticed that while the budget is balanced, there's also like it will also use nearly 781,000 of unrestricted reserves. And of course, if we could see here in the budget summary, so the fund balance will shrink from 6.8 million to 6 million. So this could be notable. So what my question would be, like with this nearly $800,000 dollars in reserves being used to balance this year's budget, how do we plan to replenish this?
The normal operating activity of the Seaside County Sanitation District, usually with regular operations and no capital expenditures, increases its fund balance around $2 million annually. So without doing, I guess, strategy that's usually used is the district will engage in a sewer master plan to guide capital improvement plans. And during that time, the fund balance is building up. And then once they have a plan, they can utilize those funds for capital expenditures. It's important to have a forward-looking plan to make sure that we're not exceeding that cumulative fund balance that's been built up for capital expenditures.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So, okay, so regarding about the capital improvement projects, so I know that there are a lot of here, of the 7, because there are 7 CIP projects listed. So how many are fully scoped and ready for execution? So in this fiscal year, because should we consider phasing or prioritization, especially if ever in the next year our revenues would decrease or there's gonna be shortfall?
We'll turn this over to the district engineers to give more insight about the prioritization of these projects. But I will point out that the revenue sources for the sanitation district are usually very stable. They're based on user fees and property tax. And we monitor our fund balance very regularly, and I'd say a good measure to indicate that the district's in good financial health is that these proposed expenditures are covered by more than 2 times that amount in the available fund balance. But with that, I'll give this over to the district engineers to discuss the capital improvement projects.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. I'm Patrick Grogan, the Associate Engineer. So we reached out, as far as project prioritization, we reached out to our neighboring jurisdictions, the Public Works Departments for Sand City and Delray Oaks, to see what upcoming work they had going on this upcoming fiscal year, especially with regard to paving projects. Delray Oaks said that they did not have any planned paving projects or other major projects coming up. Sand City gave us a list of streets that they plan to repave in the near future. So we prioritize, and we did the same with the city of Seaside's paving list, and we prioritized projects that overlap with those paving areas so that we could get them done before the paving happens. We also looked at areas within the cities that had storm drain needs. We didn't receive any input from Delray, any specific locations from Delray Oaks or Sand City, but for the city of Seaside, we intend to try and overlap sewer and storm drain projects in order to save money on total project costs. So those are our those are the most prioritized projects, and then otherwise it was as time and funding balance allows.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
for that clarification. Any other questions from the board?
I have just one question, because like I said, this is new. Under the 3 funding sources, the 3 main sources of revenue, for the property tax and interest income, I see that the fees are being raised 1% on the user fee and the property tax. Does that, when do these increases usually happen? Does this come every year to the board, or and my question is just in regards, to the users, if I don't want to say I sit on another board, another sewer, Monterey water board, and I know they do like every 5 years they go with a Prop 218, I believe, and they look at rates, and they raise it at that time. I was just wondering how this Seaside Sanitation District work, with the rates, and just because sitting on the negative board, because it's all about the users, the residents, that I know that we like to see the rates escalating, and therefore really getting the pockets of the residents and making it hard to pay for them to pay bills and that. So the question was, I know how it works there, but I was wondering how it works here. So is it 1%? Does it come every year, or just how does that?
Sure. So I just want to be clear that this budget document doesn't establish any changes to fees at all. This is just a revenue projection for our budget planning purposes. And for property tax, that's derived with consultation of our property tax consultant. And user fees are based on historical growth. But I think I'd have to defer to Patrick if you have more information about fees. When they're set, thank you.
Sorry if I missed this detail, but I can provide information about impact fees or capacity fees that may be charged to projects for development. Was that something you were looking for info on?
Just read through here again. I don't know if it was for development, you know.
We did do a fee study. I may be speaking out of turn. I think it was 2019 that we're operating off of that prescribed our rate structure and the increases for it. I'm not familiar with the details of that document right now.
I'm sorry, I could have did this offline, probably asking this question, so, yeah. Just, maybe I think, maybe have a meeting, I don't know, if I'll be coming to this, more regular to talk with some for the city, or perhaps.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now I'm gonna open the floor for the public to ask questions.
We don't have anybody on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to the board. So are there any other discussions about the budget?
Just a clarification, I didn't know where we need to change the corrections here or on the budget. We had a handout, there was a couple of corrections.
Those corrections will be isn't it?
Page 3.
It's the very first page of the presentation and page 3 of the budget document, where the total revenues will be slightly higher than the 2,941,957. That'll be reported as $2,973,281. And the beginning unrestricted fund balance is actually higher. So it'll be increased from $6,799,890 to $7,356,094. And this doesn't impact any of the expenditures that are being proposed.
Yeah, I would just, I got, the question is, I guess is, would this be updated on the website and in the record for the public? These
Exactly. This is just to when the budget document is uploaded to the district's website, it'll have the corrected numbers.
Oh, okay. And then I see you have the corrected numbers on the slides, right? On your slides. That's all the questions I have.
Okay.
So probably we can, if the board agrees, we can approve the budget with the contingency of the correction. Yes.
As amended.
Yeah. as
Well,
amended.
I second, but on the question. So Chair, can I?
Yes.
That's the issue I'm having. I wish, we should have received the latest document and this packet could have been reprinted again with the corrected numbers in there. So I guess I'm really talking to the general manager of the district, right? And so that's my uneasiness with this, is I understand how it was put out in the 72-hour packet. I understand that. But when we come up here, we should have the latest numbers to the best of our abilities, particularly when it's just about printing out that one page. So on my question, Chair, is hopefully that can happen in the future. It's always going to be corrections. I understand that. That's no big deal. That's no big deal. But we should have the latest here, and then we wouldn't have to debate about with the corrections, because that's not what we were presented. We were presented the right numbers. It was just said, corrected on this paper. But the right numbers are up there, so we shouldn't have to with the corrections. No, you adopt the one that's right there with the report.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
It should, if we had that sitting in front of us.
Yeah. Well, my only last point is we really never discussed the bad numbers. The report came with the good numbers. That's the good thing. That's what I'm saying. That's the good thing. So then we wouldn't have to talk about corrections, because there was no corrections other than correcting a piece of paper. That's all I'm saying. All right, that's it.
Okay. So, how are we gonna move forward? Just
Correct approve the presentation.
as amended,
Yes.
yes, okay,
I don't think, that's what I'm saying, Chair. I don't think the presentation was amended. This is just a piece of paper. She gave the right number. She gave the right report.
okay,
That's all I'm saying.
okay.
So is that correct? No, but we could just approve the budget document as presented.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
okay, who would?
I
mean,
think go ahead, Mayor.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I second.
Okay, and, in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now the budget has been approved as presented. Okay, so now let's go to the next one, which is, staff reports, yeah.
Hi, Chairman, members of the board, Thomas Corman, District Engineer. Just wanted to state in the next, as following up what Patrick said, is that so in the next couple months, we'll be meeting with the Public Works directors to go through the list of projects that they have planned and looking at the projects that we had stated up there. In addition to that, we're going to be setting up a separate bidding platform for SESD. There's been kind of a little bit of overlap, obviously, in the past, so that we kind of take away some of the haziness between the city of Seaside and the Seaside Sanitation County Sanitation District. In addition to that, lastly, I just wanted to introduce a couple people. Monte Miller, who is our superintendent, who oversees the SESD crews that do the sewer flushing on the rotation schedules that you see out there. And then also Kirsten Van Jen, who is our analyst, who works on many of the numbers also on the projects that you see for SESD. So that's all I have for now. Any questions for me?
Thank you, Chair. I have this concern at the city, and I'm gonna share it here because I think it's a good thing to divide it up a little bit, clear a line. And so hopefully, as we go forward with this bidding process, we're talking more about or taking a better look at the quality of work, not just the lowest bid, because I think some of these lowest bidders, particularly for the city of Seaside, and I would imagine other places are just doing the minimum. They're just doing the minimum. So it has to be more than just all of these people are qualified. This is the lowest bid. And then we look up and it's quality issue concerns.
Right.
So I'll just throw that out there. And hopefully we won't have to talk about that anymore here at the district. But this is an opportunity for the district to take that mindset of, what quality of work are we getting for the money we're spending? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on the board? None? Okay, so board members' comments. So this is the time to say something or last words.
I guess I could have asked this stuff like, Mayor, are you going to be continue to be a member a little bit more often?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
I don't know.
okay, okay.
This was a second.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So, can't give you a straight answer yet. No. If it's not Jerry, it probably will be.
Oh, okay. No, we're glad that you're here. It's just I think we got some issues to talk about coming up. So I was just wondering. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm honored to have the two mayors here, in our board. Okay, so I would just like to thank the staff of SCSD for all your hard work and for drafting the budget. I know this is not easy task, dealing with all the numbers and thank you from the bottom of my heart for making the budget balance. And I hope we're gonna have a year that is with no issues when it comes to revenues. And then we'll be able to be really like on the same page with the budget. Yeah, thank you so much. And happy summer, everyone. Okay, so and then now adjourn. The meeting is adjourned.